Hey everybody, well, Kimmel's Irish Pub, Shape of Water, you know that. Recently got some feedback to cut the chit chat. I appreciate feedback, so I won't go into too deep about this, but this movie, The Shape of Water, has got some high scores. It's an Oscar nominated film, and that's why we're reviewing it. 92% Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, 78% from the audience, and IMDb has it at 7.8. It has Sally Hawkins, Octavia Spencer, Michael Shannon in it. And essentially what I get from the synopsis is that it is a movie set in the 1960s in some secret place, government secret area, like in Area 51 I assume, but it's in Baltimore, so it's not that area, but it's a secret place like that. And there's a cleaning woman who's a mute who cleans this facility, and there is a amphibious type person who is held captive there, and she falls in love with him. So, very interesting concept. Not something, again, I don't think I would normally pick out to watch if I wasn't doing all these videos. So, but probably because it was nominated for an Oscar, I would have to watch it. But prior to that, I don't think I would. So, it's great to do this kind of stuff and get into it and see what we're going to see here. So, I'll get started. And I'll catch you up on what really is the movie is all about in my first check-in. So stick around. I'll be back. Thanks. Hey everybody. Do a quick check-in here. We're watching The Shape of Water. It's at the 1 hour, 3 minute and 9 second mark. 1:03:09. So a little over halfway. There's about 59 minutes and 45 seconds left. And you know, it's pretty interesting. So the amphibian, the sea creature, the water creature, I guess, was captured in South America by Michael Shannon. So he has captured it and brought it back to this base or laboratory, I guess it is what it really is, and they have him kept in water. And the thing can breathe underwater, but it can also breathe out of water for a certain period of time. So it's got the capacity to breathe. It had two different types of breathing styles. So that's interesting. So obviously this is a pretty interesting creature. And so the United States has this creature, but Russia also wants to be involved. So it's during, I guess, the Cold War, you know, in 1962. So they're battling each other for these types of things. And so the United States has this thing because of Michael Shannon. And what they want to do, at least the United States wants to kill it, open it up and study it. And then Russia also wants to take it so that they can study it as well. But they're at the point whereas if they can't have them, they want it destroyed so the United States can't learn anything. So that's the backdrop of why this creature is where it is and what's going on with it. But in the meantime, while it's being captured, we have this cleaning lady who's a mute, who is cleaning up all over the time and discovers this thing, but then starts to care for it. Because she's mute, he's kind of mute, he can't speak either, so they're teaching each other sign language. She knows sign language, she's teaching him that, music, different things like that. She's hanging out with this amphibious creature on a daily basis, and you know, she comes to the point where she feels, you know, he likes her for her, not, you know, not worried about that she's mute. So anyway, so this is all going on, and again the United States wants to cut him open and see how they could study him. So she realizes this, and now she needs to devise a plan to have him escape. And also, the one doctor that's working for the United States has Russian ties. I believe he's a Russian doctor, and he doesn't want the thing destroyed either. So he was hoping to give it to the Russians, but when the Russians say, well, if the United States are going to cut him open, let's just kill it. So he doesn't want that to happen either. So you can see maybe a partnership building between the two of them. You know, she has it's very interesting so far. I don't know what else I could tell you. There was one interesting part I wanted to quote to you. So Michael Shannon goes into the bathroom to use the bathroom, and he washes his hands, and then goes to the bathroom, and then, you know, then he doesn't wash his hands the second time. So he says, a man washes his hands either before or after tending to his needs. Now, if a man washes his hands before and after, there's a flaw in his character. I thought that struck me as funny. So interesting because, you know, when you go to the bathroom, I always wash my hands afterwards. he did it before, and he's saying there's nothing wrong with doing it either way. But if you do it both times, there's a flaw in your character. So that was a little interesting thing that I jotted down. I thought I'd share with you. But so that's really what's going on in this movie. It is interesting. And Octavia Spencer's really good. I always like her. She's sassy, I think, in all of her roles. That's my adjective for her. But I'll get into it. There's a lot left, so almost an hour left. And check back in or see you at the credits. So stick around. Alright, well that's it. We're at the credits of Shape of Water. And I think the last time we checked in, I was telling you about how she was trying to help the amphibious creature escape. So, and I'm not going to ruin it, but as I said, Michael Shannon is like the head of this research for the United States, and he has a general that he has to answer to. So anything that goes wrong, he's under pressure from the general. So that drives him, to do some crazy things in order to protect his asset. So you can understand he's one of those actors I think plays a very similar role in a lot of the films that he does. He does it great. That crazy guy, that crazy FBI guy or detective of some sort, or Boardwalk Empire, I think he was a detective, I don't know, but he plays the same kind of guy, and he gets into that here too. When he's trying to protect his asset, he does a lot of crazy things, torturous type stuff as well. So there was one scene that I thought I'd bring up is there's this ballroom scene. She's a mute, she's trying to communicate to the amphibian thing, and then they flash into like watching a movie and they're dancing. I thought that was kind of silly. I get it, because throughout the movie, her and her neighbor, who was played by Richard Jenkins, they're best friends. They take care of each other, and he's helping a lot with a lot of the things that she has going on, and they like to watch these old films of dancing and Fred Astaire type stuff. But then they do that scene and you see this thing dancing. I just thought that was kind of silly. I don't know. That was just me. But essentially, this movie is forbidden love, I guess, is what the term is. I don't know. Beauty and the Beast immediately came to mind. That's what this film's like. Edward Scissorhands, Swamp Thing, and if you've ever seen that one, that's an old one. But very, very similar type movie here. And Splash. I thought Splash was a good analogy as well. So take all those movies and up to date, and with today's filmmaking capabilities, and that's what you get. You get this type of movie, just told in a different way, I feel. There's one scene also, there's a little bit more criticism. Octavia Spencer's the mute's friend. Throughout the whole thing, and she helps with a lot of different things. And Michael Shannon goes to her house to confront her about something without giving anything away. And her husband is sitting there, and Michael Shannon comes in and starts threatening her. The husband stands up, and the guy turns, and Michael Shannon turns, "Sit down." And he sits back down. Like, really, would you sit down if some guy came into your house and was threatening your wife right in front of you? I don't know, but whatever. But that's, a couple of criticisms here and there. For me, good film. I don't understand why it's up for an Oscar, unless all those other movies that I mentioned. I think Edward Scissorhands was up for an Oscar. I don't know if it won or not. I'll check that out. But Swamp Thing, Beauty and the Beast, Splash. I don't know. Very similar story. Nothing that really stood out to me and said, wow, that's incredible, like some of the other ones that we're seeing. So, I'm 7, maybe an 8 now. I'm sticking with a 7. I enjoyed it. It's 2 hours long. I enjoyed the film. Do I think it deserves an Oscar? I don't know. But you have to wait till the end of the series until I tell you who I think should win the Oscar. I also want to do a little bit more research on why films get nominated for Oscars, because sometimes I have a hard time understanding why. But for me, decent film. The acting, again, was pretty good. I did like the Russian doctor. I liked his role. I liked Michael Shannon, of course, Octavia Spencer. I thought they all did a phenomenal job in this. So that's it. That's what I got for you. Let me know what you think. If you watched the movie, I'd love to hear your comments. good or bad. So thanks for tuning in and watching Kimmel's Irish Pub.